What's going on, everybody? Money Shot here, back with another God's Eye for you from a public War of Rights match. A little bit different for you this evening, and by evening, I might as well just go ahead and say night. As today I'm bringing you something special. We have a night match in the snow over Burnsides Bridge. Burnsides Bridge, of course, is going to be on the way to Sharpsburg over in Antietam Creek. If you're not familiar with the game WoR Rights, it's a 300 player count, first person, military, roleplay, combat sim set in the US Civil War. This is ticket style play. A little bit different though. WoR Rights has a custom morale system offering you buffers for staying in line and following the orders of your officers, and some pretty steep penalties if you decide to Rambo and go out on your own. Not going to say too much, not going to spoil it. So that being said, grab your coat, get your thermos, because it's cold out there. I'm going to flip it on over and let this unfold. But before I do, if you haven't yet, go ahead down below, like and subscribe, leave a comment, let me know what you think of these. Share if you have any friends. And if you're still here at the end, I will check in with you just before the map. Hope you enjoy this one. I know I did. What's going on, everyone? Welcome in. we are still just mustering 43 on the clock, and you are obviously looking here at Burnsides Bridge, and the server just went dark. And they prepare to muster in for a night fight in the snow for Antietam Creek here. This is definitely not true to any sort of historical accuracy, but this should make for quite an interesting match here. Burnsides Bridge obviously needs to be taken and crossed and held by Union on this map. And you see them pushing through the fog and the snow on their way over to the bridge. Second here. All right, we're coming back in here, and they're in formation. But that formation is spread out quite a bit, and you can see presence falling as they continue to move across the battlefield to get into position. Not the best sight. Usually those presents are only going to fall when you are in a line formation, a stationary formation like this one here, and it is an indication that you are your column is moving very spread out behind you. Generally not something that you as the officer would want, especially if you need to get into position and start putting fire down on the enemy right away. The end units in your line then are going to be well delayed, and any action that you're trying to take as a cohesive unit is going to be well delayed as well. Flag going down there for the Union. 41 now on the clock, and CSA really digs in to protect this bridge. We'll see if we can scoot down here. Remember, viewer discretion for any audio here as we jump into proximity range.
You're all Europeans to me, and you're all to me.
As I said, discretion right there. They do have a decent visual on the ground here, foot soldier-wise. They are able to see clear to the other side. Not much after that, but they don't need to see much anyway. They need to see just far enough to hold this bridge. Union Battery should be singing on this map. It's a very cut and dry bluff on the other side of the bridge there. I'm wondering if they're having some issues seeing. No, they definitely can see muzzle flashes. They should be hitting those with everything they have and keeping the CSA team shifting constantly while draining tickets so that Union can eventually push on over here. Here comes the first advance from the Union as they push over the bridge. Boys fall in immediately. But it is still dark. And they do get a significant way over. CSA bravely standing in the breach there. Their officer goes down there finally. And the first wave really is going to get driven back here with no issue. Union wisely pulling back. One brave boy running up there grabbing the American flag in order to pull it back before they leave. And a couple people deciding that they are the original Navy SEALs. They go down on their own.
Oh my god, that ticket drop is so crazy for real.
For real, for real.
We killed half there.
Battery now realizing that they just need to just keep pounding this bluff, and eventually they're going to find the right spots to hit. It doesn't really matter where they hit. I mean, assuming they're not hitting way over here. The sheer suppression from this many cannons will force the CSA team probably back to the top of the hill if they can get coordinated and organized and start putting artillery rounds out.
I think there's a way to turn up the brightness in console.
Trees?
Yeah.
Cannon hitting there, and
fixed bayonet. Excuse me, boys. I thought they were spawning mine. They weren't.
CSA is gonna start to feel this as these cannons continue to come in here. There should be about 3 more getting ready to fire, and each muzzle blast from the CSA is only making things easier for those Union cannons. And you can see right there a couple boys get knocked to the ground. They don't have to respawn, however. They're simply down one.
Thank you very much.
Gonna have to come back in there. But if they do not shift, this next barrage is going to be absolutely devastating for them. And they don't appear to be doing much shifting at all. And that's now going to really lighten the woods up for that battery. Cannon coming in a little high on this one. We'll see if the ones that were not quite aimed yet are going to actually be a lot more accurate.
Everybody, take aim at their chest. Take aim. Steady. Fire!
There we go.
Good shit.
Volley going out. A little sloppy. It could tighten up, and it usually does as the match proceeds. Real lucky with this cannon shot as it hits the tree and falls well short of any effectiveness with its blast. Same with this Second round coming in very short. Cannon opening there. This one might have found home, and it lands just in between the front rank of skirmishers and the main line. Union now pushing about 4 people over, but I think they're just trying to get people to come back. Very strange. Not thinking this was an ordered advance by about 4 boys there. They go down almost immediately. Actually, one of them gets through. And maybe they are now pushing people through a few at a time. No, it's a full-on assault now. And we'll see how they
Don't stop shooting.
they're not going to get very far as CSA calmly slides over the bluff and counters this. As the bridge empties onto a T intersection, there's really not much that the Union can do if they don't get a decent barrage and possibly even volleys first before they go in, and that barrage is not, despite its decent attempts, still not manifesting. They start to come in now, but they are falling way short of where they need to hit. About 10 to 15 more on the yardage. Should see these shells landing smack amongst these CSA formations. They are going to shift to the opposite side of the bluff though, and the next round of shells will fall into empty hillside. No Union officer anymore, and that is really going to hamper this battery in being able to see where the enemy is sitting currently. You can see those shells still coming in where they originally saw muzzle blasts, but the team has shifted, and despite actually hitting some accurate fire, they do not do any damage. CSA now coming back on to the bluff. Still another company way over here on the left. And Union is resetting for another push. Battle ready on the CSA side. Union slips to engaged, and we'll check back in with the battery here. Still remains no officer that we can see. That's not to say he is not one of these stars, but I don't believe so. If he was, I would not have him up there. There's no, he would have to advance across with the across the bridge, and unless they all made it, he's not going to forward observe anything from a CSA line volley. Some real sneakies going on here. You see a real slow attempt. I'm not sure how long he'll stay with this, but if he is quite determined, we may see a cannon make its way up to the bluff side here. We do occasionally get a cannon moved all the way up this far. And Union is going to
Alright, bet. Where's the officer at?
really just take a pause. They're not sure just what to do. There's a flag way down here. can't be good. Whoever took the flag that far over. Probably not everybody's favorite friend right now as they try to respawn into 90-second respawn time.
They're about to come, boys.
I can't see shit out of this thing.
I'm gonna respawn.
And there's a Django reference. If anybody got that. And we continue to see muzzle flashes on the far side of the river. And artillery doing their best to put shells straight into those muzzle flashes now. And we're going to see another Union push fall to the wayside as the battery is really not helping as much as it should.
There you go. Oh, Lamette,
Help me!
Give me Lamette.
Somebody,
Oh, that's fucking lame.
The open front.
With these positions, we can see where CSA is at. They really do not need an officer with binoculars, and Union's play right now really ought to be a strong muster right up here, right below the cannons. Really form everybody up and talk to your battery. And have them all start firing on this hillside at the same time, one large barrage at the same time you're sending everyone over that you have.
Right side of my screen.
They don't appear to be communicating with the battery very much, and the battery does not have an officer to communicate anyway. And so these shells are really just kind of hunting and pecking
Dates.
in the dark.
Oh, really? That's that one.
That isn't to say they aren't doing their job when these shells are landing. They're definitely grabbing 2, 3 boys at a time, but it's not the ideal effect for this present tactical situation that Union has found itself in. Now we did see a smoke trail and an explosion in the center of the bridge about 2 minutes ago. I'm not sure whose that came from. Oh, it was a CSA cannon. There is one up here. Somebody has gotten one pushed way up. If they imagine they ran back to find a shell, there he. Nope. Nope. Yep. Yep. Up. Yep. All right, they're working together. They're gonna move that caisson, that limber, up here just far enough that they can run and grab some shells when they need to, and this cannon is going to be positioned just for that next Union charge. But if they don't get back to the cannon, they might miss the charge, and we have seen that happen before. People on cannons get bored waiting, and they pull the lanyard, and next thing you know, the charge comes after they have fired their shot. And here it comes right now, and I don't think those boys have loaded that cannon yet.
We're charged now. I guess we're charged. Let's go. Move.
And now this charge has become sloppy firing in advance. And the artillery at the top of the hill does get a round off. You hear a couple boys go down there as it explodes center bridge. This one was close. They get a flag all the way over there. It goes down. And they do get it picked back up, but there's nobody else to help. And the rest of the boys come in one at a time. And we know what happens to one at a time charges. They happen one at a time. we see here Union didn't even appear to wait for all of their reinforcements to get back onto the field before pushing across this bridge. They need to really start talking to each other and getting these plans put together with some kind of deliberate intent behind them. And by that I mean they need some sort of an idea of what they're going to do, where they're going to go 2 moves from now once they get across that bluff. They aren't doing that. I think they're just kind of throwing people across the river and trying to get a foothold. With the size of that bluff over there and CSA really dug in, that's not going to be very effective. You can see that maybe they were trying to plan something for this far corner over here as they keep trying to push for it. But all that does is draw out what the CSA can counter, as they still have high ground no matter where they move along here. They're going to pin the Yankee team to that river bluff. They cannot enter the river. It is too deep for them to cross. I don't even believe the game will allow them to come off of the bank and get into the water at all. Real quiet on the artillery front lately. Wondering what's going on there. Perhaps they are resetting the aim, as CSA has shifted back now to the other side of the bridge. They were hanging out there over on the southwest edge, but they've shifted back to their original position, and now the cannons start to come back in here, hitting tree branches and trees. Though they do get some knockdowns, so they are feeling these cannon shots. They're just not losing tickets to them.
Lead them in, don't stop. Double clear, double clear.
And here comes an assault. We see 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 boys and an officer, 5 boys and an officer. Not gonna do it. It's not gonna do it. You've got to pull this entire Yankee team back up here, and if you have to step off from the artillery itself, you're gonna have to get some kind of rolling barrage up here to suppress this CSA team. They're extremely dug in. They know these positions now by heart. Their officers could probably just tell them to shift to the other side, and they will come over here and go exactly where they need to. You see the bodies now piling up on the bridge. And batteries simply doing their own thing here. They don't realize even that their shells are hitting tree trunks because they don't have the officer to scope out with the binoculars what's happening. Cannon now from CSA's side of the river trying to find its way into this rally point.
6.
Real close now on the cannon shots. If they can just sneak them in there past the trees, they're gonna have the CSA is gonna have a real bad day. But as it sits right now, these shells are exploding just out of any sort of damage reach. I don't even think they're probably in suppression, as these shells are landing right about here, or exploding right about here. As this shell comes in center on nothing. real slow, stagnated skirmish across the bridge here. CSA is taking the wind out of the Yankee sails for any further drives across the bridge, and taking losses, now slipping away from Union, and the red ring will close for CSA. As they take point of contention here with a couple of their battery members. Multiple cannons now up on top of the hill. Didn't we see another one earlier? No, they just did get the limber up here to be able to reload a little faster. But Union is going to have to make something happen here as they see this battle slipping from their grasp.
Everybody get over.
Ultimately, as it sits right now, if this match was to end, I would say we can firmly put this one on the lack of artillery support. Given the layout of this battlefield, this is a simple boom it and scoot it. If you catch my drift, they should just be hammering this hillside as the rest of the infantry charges over the bridge. Regardless of their plans afterwards, they could, I mean, given the right barrage, they could just come right up the center slope if it was done correctly. And you can see, we don't even see cannon shells exploding amongst CSA anymore. And the usual calm sounds of the southern proximity chats here as these cannon finally finding home now. You'll see CSA start to shift their boys, I'm sure. But as it sits right now, they were sitting there all nice and calm, having a party there. Union trying a little bit of a fire in advance type of procedure to get across the bridge, as the first company skirmishes and the second company pushes right through the skirmish and tries to take a front line position here on the bank. And this will be the first time that Union gets a significant amount of troops over the river, and there is no counter to them from the southern team. Unsure if that is simply because an officer was down. He is sitting here. Oh no, he's playing music. I'm not sure. And now they are going to move to the other side, but Union has already scooted around and come up. They have shifted into braking though, so CSA will charge back towards the point to keep the Yankees from pushing up here. They've got to keep them off of it, and you see them coming in now. What this is going to do though is open up that bridge for anybody that wants to reinforce right across it. You might see a couple of die-hard snipers left over here. Yeah, there's a few here. But if that other Union company wants to push, the bridge is pretty much wide open for the taking. A big old running skirmish for the top of the hill here, as Union really tries to keep the foothold that they've made, but it is getting pushed back further and further and further. Both teams in breaking now, 16 on the clock. Ring still fully red, And the rest of the Union team is attempting to slowly scoot across the bridge. They are pretty evenly matched given the number of skirmishers left on the bluff. As Union's braking is starting to slip
I didn't know there
even.
was a night setting for this, man. That's pretty cool.
They don't really seem too excited to rally their boys up. They need to. They needed to just tell them to pick up the gun and run. And there is now, Union. He's getting scattered to the winds here on the far side. You could really just tell they are completely cut off now, and combat ineffective. There was no real effectiveness here. They were not allowed to keep the foothold that they had. They tried to create one and were pretty successful, but they kept moving rather than reforming their line. And I think that is ultimately what allowed CSA to pick them off one by one as they followed them up the hill here. And the plan continues to be attempted as respawns come in and come across the bridge. They immediately hook a left and search for the line that's supposed to be over here, but there is no line here. These boys have been wiped. Take another look at the battery here as we crash and burn into the hayfield ourselves. And whoa, somebody disappeared right in front of us.
Alright, I thought you were gonna just wait.
Okay, I'll wait.
And we see artillery members. I believe they are slowly switching out to infantry as they all think that this beachhead still remains up top, and it is definitely not there. It has been crushed as the flag sits on the ground right up here. CSA is going to come back down to the bluff and try to thwart what is probably the final assault across Burnsides Bridge here, as all of the color now leaking away from the Yankee braking there. CSA also in braking, losing tickets pretty rapidly as well. The muzzle flashes are really advantageous to both teams here with the distance that they are shooting through the brush. I do believe with the muzzle smoke on a daylight map that they would probably be losing less tickets just due to the smoke screen that both lines put out. But with the muzzle flashes showing through this smoke, it's making it very easy to pick targets and just send, one or two, three, a volley back into the same direct vicinity. And these cannons now are going to put direct leveled fire onto the opposite bank. And for the first time, this battery is going to really become a menace for the CSA team. Wait for the next cannon round to come in there. They had just pushed them into position. We'll take a listen in here amongst the ranks. You can hear some banjos, as you would expect from the CSA team, as they shift to the other side of the bridge here. At least they split their companies. For some reason, the other cannon did not fire yet. Looks like they feel like they need to push it further up. for some reason. And unfortunately, that's just hampering any further pushes across the river until that cannon gets firing again. CSA now coming back across to shift again, and as soon as they can, as long as they continue to shift in and out of positions, the Union battery is not going to be able to keep them pinned or suppressed in an area with enough effectiveness that this Union infantry can get over the bridge. They are going to push now, and we'll see if cannons start firing. That one does open up, but it lands very high up on the bluff, well above any of the CSA team, and you see the CSA team now really dug in along that fence back there. And Union can't really even get across the bridge without walking through crossfire. Final push now for the Yankees. CSA's braking is slipping. 3 minutes on the clock. And this cannon pushed all the way down this hill, about 15 minutes worth of pushing, only to see both artillerymen get shot down in a volley from the far bank. And the mistakes keep piling up for this Union team. A lot of CSA boys directly in the face of every Union cannon right now, but they are not going to sing out. And with 2:45 left, Union's last attempt at getting across this bridge and Antietam Creek is not going to be realized. You see their reinforcements now coming in. They're going to put everybody they got together into one final push, but it is much too late. They have to get over there. They have to mitigate both CSA front lines and then get up here and hold the top of the hill. And unless they just for somehow just take a ton of tickets. I don't know that this is gonna pan out. 141 now, braking and final push still, respectively. And CSA real skirmished out on this hill. Multiple companies and entire gun crews now overlooking the bridge.
One more push, I think.
And here comes a Union charge.
They ain't gonna make it. Only got a minute left.
There's not enough time. You hear him talking right there. There's just even if they could get up the hill, I don't think there's enough time to break through this line and then climb the hill even. They have waited too long. Canister shot rips into the line as it comes across the bridge. Many boys go down before they even get to the other side of the river, and only about 7 boys make it over. Not even that. We're seeing CSA rout the Union as they come over from both sides. It's almost state of development. As soon as they get across the bridge, CSA was hiding along the wings there. One boy left standing in the breach. A couple of friends come in to try to help out. This one is over, and had their battery come together just a little bit more, this would have been a different story for the Union, and that'll close it out. Good job, CSA. And I will leave you with the map.
After many hours of fighting, the tenacious Georgian defenders that had dug in on the hillside overlooking the old Rohrbach Bridge had managed to almost hold out with only a fraction of the numbers sent against them. But it was the twin regiments of the 51st New York and 51st Pennsylvania that finally managed to push across. As reports came to General Toombs of Union forces from Rodman's division also crossing at Snavely's Ford to the southwest, Toombs had to make a galling decision lest he be overrun. The Confederates finally were forced back towards Sharpsburg, though it would take even more precious time for General Burnside to get his forces across the Antietam.
All right, guys, as usual, let's pull it back here one last time. If you're still here, thank you for watching. It really means a lot to me. I really enjoy bringing these to you, and I hope you're finding some entertainment or getting something out of them. If you are and you haven't yet, down below, let me know in the comment section. Like and subscribe. Share it with anybody else who you might feel would enjoy this content. And until next time, I'll see you on the field. Take care, guys.